Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Griswold Select podcast. It will be available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music. My name is Matt Danieluk. I am the Democratic nominee for Selectman in the town of Griswold for this term. And I wanted to do this so that you, the residents of Griswold, our neighbors, and our friends, could get to know who it is that we are, the people running in this race to represent you at Town Hall and at the Board of Ed and the Board of Finance. And we're going to bring you content right where you live. We're going to put it on social media. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Griswold Democratic Town Committee or DTC Griswold on Instagram. We are in the process of setting up a TikTok. We have a campaign website, votefalkdanieluk.com. And we're going to bring you a ton of content. We want to hear from you. The most important part of this campaign is you telling us what you want to talk about, what you want us to care about, what do you want to change or improve. Maybe there's something that we're missing. I could sit here all day and tell you what I think, but that's not really the point. The point is for you to tell us what you think. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to sit down with current First Selectwoman Tina Falck. She's the incumbent running for re-election, and we're going to have a really long, really personal conversation so that you can get to know who she is. Look for more content soon, everywhere that you get your podcasts. Remember, Griswold Select. All right, everyone. Welcome to the first of what I hope will be many interviews for the Griswold Select podcast and YouTube channel. You can find us all over the place on YouTube, Spotify. We'll be sharing our content on social media. We have a website, votefalkdanieluk.com. So we appreciate you checking all of that out. And I'm here today with our current First Selectwoman, who's running for re-election this November, Tina Falck. Hi, Tina.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is exciting.
I'm glad you're excited.
Yes.
So we're just going to ignore the camera and just kind of have a you and I conversation about a whole bunch of different stuff. Because what I realized as I got to know you was that as just a resident of Griswold, I didn't really know who you were, you know.
Same here.
Yeah. You know, but I voted for you.
Well, thank you for that.
And you know, now I'm running for selectman as well, of course. So I'm hardly impartial, but I wanted us to have a conversation that would allow other members of our town to know you a little bit more intimately than maybe is possible through Board of Selectmen meetings or, you know, whatever formal visits they have to the town hall.
Right.
So the first order of business here for me was to give us a little bit of your background in terms of how you ended up being the first selectman in Griswold in the first place.
Okay. Well, I've had many jobs. Okay. I mean, I've been through dentistry. I've been through liberal arts colleges. I've been through the Mystic Aquarium in the education department. And I've even worked blue collar, where I was actually at Wirewind. I left Connecticut College and I thought, you know what, I really want to know what it was like for my parents who worked in thermos, artistic wire, and I wanted to know what that type of work was like. So I took some time off and I went to work at Wirewind for a year. The people at the college thought she's lost her mind because I would come home, I worked third shift, steel-toed shoes, grease on my hands. I learned how to change the gears on machinery, and it was hard work. It was very hard work. And then the job opening for the senior center director, I happened to see it in the Norwich Bulletin. So I thought, you know what, I'll try that. And lo and behold, I was hired by Paul Brickey for the position, and that was back in 2005. And right up until last year, well, until this period of serving in the selectman's office, I was the senior center director, and it was a job that I really I learned so much, and it was a whole new area for me to explore. fell in love with it, with the whole social service part of it. And then the opportunity came up to, I really wanted to retire, but the opportunity came up to run for office.
Mhm.
It's nothing that I ever would have predicted would be in my life, but I did. Here I am, and it's quite an experience. It really is. But I still am closely connected to the social services in the town, along with senior services,
Mhm.
together with the new director up there. So
Yeah, and that's really I think it's an important and integral part of what makes Griswold Griswold. I think that we do have a really high percentage of seniors in our
we
population.
do, we do.
And I think if you compare it to a lot of other towns, I do think we do a pretty good job of providing support and services to our seniors. I think
Hmm.
we care a lot about that portion of our community, and we should. And I think we
Absolutely.
showed that when the town voted to approve the building of the new senior center.
Yes.
So I think those are really good things, and I think you and I share that as like a core value. Being able
Absolutely.
to help people that are at various stages of their life, but
Hmm.
who maybe are not the first people served in the community.
Correct.
Um, so,
Yeah.
kind of building on that, your background and experience, you know, obviously it plays a role. You and I actually have both really diverse backgrounds that kind
Hmm.
of led us to here. But how does managing a senior center, which is very, I'm sure there's a lot of administrative work to do, and also you are very personally connected with all of those people.
Absolutely.
How does that translate to your work as the first select woman in Griswold?
Well, if working at the senior center in general, not
Hmm.
even saying as the director, but I think I learned a lot about empathy,
Hmm.
compassion, and people who are in need. All right. It started with the social services was never really part of that position, and it started one day for me. Shortly after I began working there, there was a senior
Hmm.
whose daughter and her young children were in dire need of assistance. And that's where it all began for me. Um, Trying to find the agencies. Where do you go for the type of help that they needed? Um, and it just grew from there.
Yeah.
And I just think it's important that it's not just about the senior community, but we evolved up there into the emergency fuel fund.
Hmm.
That is for people who run out of fuel in the wintertime. They're at risk of freezing.
Hmm.
We started that there so that we can get people up and running and safe. And then we work with them to get them together with TVCCA to apply for energy assistance. And it becomes a long term relationship with that family
Yeah.
or with that senior because you continuously follow up on how are they doing? Are there additional needs? Do they need food? Do they need clothing? Are they able to pay their rent? Do they need rental assistance? Those types of things. So, in a community, this isn't a large community,
No.
but in a community this size, we really are able to help people
Hmm.
and learn where the needs are and then direct yourself toward what those needs, you know, where you can find them.
So now, would people reach out to you in that situation? Let's say you were in that situation. Would you go directly to town hall? Would you call the selectman's office? Is there somewhere for the like where is there access to that if someone was in need of that?
Okay. Really, the new senior center director, Lisa Martell, she's
Mhm.
doing a fantastic job and she is taking care of most of these social services.
Okay.
But there are many people in the community who still they don't know where to go. So they will call the town hall.
Hmm.
Ultimately, and it ends up in my office, and I will work together with Lisa. And if she's not able to, I'll work independently to direct these people and guide the resident toward services that will help them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to take what will appear to be a blip of a break. please be sure to check out our partners page on the campaign website, votefalkdanieluk.com, and check out all of the Griswold Democrats running for office this term. Election day is November 4th. So if you're not registered or you're not sure if you're registered, you can click that link right on our webpage and find out. You can also register online as long as you have a DMV issued ID. And if you go to our campaign partners page, you will get to see our many, many talented and qualified candidates that we have running for positions here in town. November 4th is election day. No matter who you choose to vote for, get out and vote. This is our town. We're back. The recording never stopped. I just had to appease my paranoia. And for the record, we are at the Slater Library, which is a pretty special place to me, as we were just talking about before we started. It's a beautiful building. They do great work here. I was last year, I think, for a chess club with my youngest son.
Oh, really?
Playing, and really it was just him and one of his buddies. But
they have a lot going on here. Yeah, they do.
So your background, we covered a little bit of that. You're the first selectman, first term, running for re-election. What is a day in the life of the first selectman of Griswold like? Like, what was your Monday?
There are never 2 days that are the same, and you never really know what's going to come through. The first thing I do is I typically will arrive before the staff. I'm typically there between 7:45 and 8:00. Staff will report to work at 8:30. Emails are first, to at least see if anything has come in overnight, or what are the things that I need to address. I look at the calendar for the day. If there are voicemail messages that may have come in overnight, for example, there were 2 messages this morning that I got, and again, it's on the Route 138 nightmare with the traffic, and can somebody check into this? You may have a call that comes in. Suddenly, there's a branch down on a certain road. You've got to communicate that to Public Works, and you kind of have to set up for the day. There was, if we're getting ready for Board of Selectmen meeting, Board of Finance meeting, you've got to go through the packet. Lisa will come in. I sit and chat with her on what the day looks like. What does the week look like? What do we have to address today? And it's, as I said, it's never the same 2 days in a row. And you do not know. We've kept an open door policy, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
And was not always that way. But if there is a resident that comes through the door, and if I am there and I hear them, I will come out of my office, invite that person into the conference room, and sit and listen to them. What is it that they need help with? What is it that they want to say?
Yeah.
I may be able to help them. I may not, but they want to be heard. And that's the one thing that I'm really proud of, because I've kept it that way right up until now, and nobody has turned away. And I've had people come in that were quite upset. It could have been a tense meeting, but it's really my job to sit and listen and figure out how we can best address their concern or their need.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I think that's one of the most important qualities of public office is that accessibility, right? Like,
absolutely,
every elected official, every level of government is elected to represent a group of people or all of the people in their area, right? Like, whether it's your town, whether it's your state, whether it's at a federal level, like the people that elect you need to have access to be able to share what they care about.
That's their right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do think that's something we're going to talk a lot about with Griswold Select and with all the interviews that we do, with all of our content, because I think that people in this town throw the word transparency around a lot, and I don't think that they are appropriate. I don't think they're appropriating the word, because from what I can see from our government is we actually have a lot of transparency. The information is there. It's available. All of the meeting notes, all of the meeting videos, all of the issues that are talked about and what's said and how it's addressed is public information. And you guys do weekly recaps that's published to the town site.
Yes.
From all of the meetings. what people are missing, I think, is not transparency. I think they're just missing delivery in a way that is a little more attainable. And that's what I think we want to do with this, is to take the existing transparency that your office has worked so hard to build
Mm-hmm.
and to make it and meet people where they are and make it more accessible to them.
Right.
And so we will be talking about, issues in town and people's questions. I'm going to say this a million times. If you guys have any questions or any topic that you want us to discuss on any of these shows with
Mm-hmm.
any member in the Democratic nominations running for election in this town, please fill out the Google form on our website under the Issues tab. You can tell us what you care about, and then we can talk about that. So, from that perspective, for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, what about the job kind of like caught you off guard that you weren't expecting when you first got elected?
What caught me off guard? I think, and I did mention this at a board of finance meeting.
Mm,
It was the number of calls that came in for public works.
yeah.
Okay, it wasn't anything that public works was doing wrong. It was the amount, the volume of a sinkhole, uh, dirt roads that were just they needed to be addressed. Trees down,
Hmm.
limbs down, uh, drainage issues.
Yep.
It just the calls just kept coming and coming and coming. So you take notes, you take a name, you take an address, you pass it on to the public works director, and then you kind of follow up to make sure that that need was addressed or that problem was addressed. But I think that was a biggie for me. And the second thing was the amount of off-site meetings
Hmm.
that this position has to be part of. And sometimes it's frustrating. It's the Council of Governments in Norwich. That's once a month. And then you are on the seat board of directors
For the bus company.
for the bus company.
Hmm.
It's also the Uncas Health District board of directors, UCFS. There was a board that I sit on. Um, so it's the amount of time that you have to really focus, and it's important
Hmm.
because all of these agencies work with our community.
Yeah.
So you need to stay on top of what's happening, what's available out there.
And so much of it is relationship building, right? Like, I think that's the case in most of what I've done in my career for work as
Hmm.
well. It's just, my mentor in my job was like, always make sure that you personally call
Hmm.
the agents of the offers that didn't get their offer selected for a house. I'm a realtor. We had a multiple offer situation. I called the realtor of the clients that got the house,
Hmm.
the offer that we selected, and then I called 7 other agents to politely tell
Wow.
them that they didn't get it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that, right? There's plenty of times where
But
I
you do
found
it.
out, but you do it, right? And I think that's a big part of. So if you're sitting on the seat board or you're sitting on the Uncas Health board,
Hmm.
like, how does that
Take a
impact
drink.
Griswold? You can take a drink. It's okay. Live
Thank you.
live on the show. Tina drinks water.
Yeah.
It's okay. Um, it's a great opportunity for me to direct you all to check out our Facebook page, the Griswold Democratic Town Committee, where we'll be promoting all of the Democratic candidates running for office here in Griswold this term. Election day is November 4th. Please share that with a friend.
Absolutely. Vote. Get out and vote.
Mhm. So, how do those boards impact life here in Griswold? Uncas Health makes sense to me because you literally can't get any building permits approved or any land things done
Right. And
without them signing off.
Uncas Health works closely with us on if we have a health concern in a housing issue.
Hmm.
I know they're coming in. They're going to be coming in to do testing for lead paint.
Hmm.
We need to know these things.
Yeah.
We have a situation going on right now where I'll try to be as vague as I can about it.
Yeah.
But there was a serious health concern in a resident's backyard. So I am working with Uncas Health to come in and do an inspection.
Mhm.
So it's those types of things. With seat, you need to know, are the routes going to change?
Yeah.
Right now, they're looking at the bus stops, the stations. Some are going to be removed, some are going to be added. The routes are going to change a little bit.
Yeah.
So we need to know these things.
Mhm.
You need to know about their operational budget. And of course, they're required to have a board of directors. So we work with them on that. Uncas Health, a lot of, especially the elder committee,
Mhm.
it's what's happening with elder care, and it's communicated with, the senior center.
Yeah.
So they're all important. They all serve
Mhm.
important things, but it's hard. It's hard to be out of the office sometime. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're one day after another after another.
Mhm.
They're all first thing in the morning, and it's just something that you have to do.
Yeah, and it seems like so like my thought of like what does a selectman do, right? Has definitely changed drastically in the time that I have known you and been
Hmm.
gotten to talk to Rich Grabowski a little bit
Right.
and seen, how busy Martin stays
Yeah.
all the time, and people don't see what truly goes into the board. And I think part of what I hope to accomplish here is to give people a better understanding of what does the first selectman do. And so we've kind of just scratched the surface
Oh, absolutely.
of
And
that.
I want to go back to the transparency thing. Um, we certainly are as transparent as we can be.
Hmm.
Okay. And I know there's always the chatter about executive committees, special meetings. Um, those things are necessary
Hmm.
because Rich and I, Rich Grabowski and I, cannot sit and talk without it constituting a meeting. It has to be published. You
Yes.
have to put it out there. Um,
So hold on one second. I want you to go with that thought. This is a really important point that I want to make.
yeah.
There are 3 selectmen in the town of Griswold.
Yes.
2 selectmen in a room makes a quorum,
Correct.
which means that you could vote to do or not do anything if 2 of you are together in a room.
But it
Which,
has to be posted.
but it has to be posted.
That has to be posted as a meeting. And we
Yes.
we were told 2 of us can walk down the street
Yep.
and we can look at a pothole
Hmm.
and we can say, there's a pothole,
Yeah.
but we cannot discuss how to resolve it, how to fix it.
Without calling a meeting.
Correct.
And sometimes, in order to address issues like that, something that is more emergent, because selectmen meetings are how frequent? Regular meetings of
Well,
the Board of
typically
Selectmen
every 2 weeks.
every two
Yeah.
weeks. But if there's a problem that arises before that, that you need to take action on and
Hmm.
you need the board to get an agreement, that is where we have special meetings
Hmm.
of the Board of Selectmen and special meetings and executive session, the same thing? It's
No,
closed? No.
executive session is closed, but particularly now
Hmm.
because we've got the project out on 164.
Hmm.
And an issue may come up with a contract or a decision has to be made, funds have to be approved, contracts have to be signed. Those things can't wait till the next Board of Selectmen meeting.
Right.
So you have to call a special meeting.
Hmm.
Executive session, as a matter of fact, we've got a special meeting this coming Friday. Executive session, contracts, personnel,
Hmm.
those types of things. So we go into executive session, we discuss a personnel issue. And there have been some people who said, well, you talk about transparency. I will not put anything out publicly that is, first of all, if it has to do with a personnel issue or contracts. But until I know that something is factual, I won't say, well, we're kind of discussing this.
Right.
You know, that right there is foolish
Right.
because what you put out to the general public darn well needs to be spot on and
Yeah.
accurate.
Clarity.
Yes.
Because, yeah, transparency is not a string of thoughts, right? It's
No,
not. It's not.
no, not
What
at
what
all.
is Tina thinking about maybe doing about this issue, right? It is when we come to a clear decision and then it's discussed, we want to tell you exactly what we talked about,
Hmm.
and how we came to that decision. But when you're talking about personnel, or you're talking about discipline, or you're talking about contracts, those are all things where in any company anywhere are handled behind closed doors
Correct.
between either unions and management or HR or
Right.
whatever. So those things are people's lives, people's salaries, disciplinary things, things that are not public knowledge,
Right.
because the town government functions on so many levels.
Right.
And so I'm glad that we were able to clarify what those things are, because I didn't know the difference between them until I asked you that question. And so now people know that special meetings are when we need to get together before a regular meeting,
Right.
and they have to be posted. An executive session is things that are not initially for public discussion, or may not be for public discussion at all.
Right. There
Um,
are, things come up routinely every day. Blight.
mhm,
Do we have a serious blight particular issue that has to be addressed?
sure.
Something maybe with zoning
Mhm.
that may come up. That you really can't wait 2 weeks.
No.
You can't wait until the next meeting. So you call a special meeting, and
And I think there
it's
are
just the way it goes.
probably moments where you want to protect people's privacy in that too, right? Like if
Right,
you're going
for
to
sure.
address blight on a private property and it's someone's house, you don't necessarily want to plaster their name all over the
Nope.
meeting minutes and
No, you do
say
not.
this person, this address is not taking care of their property the way that the town,
Right.
ordinance says you have to. And
We
so,
do have a blight officer,
mhm,
and that's through the Council of Governments. We contract with them for a blight officer, Jennifer Lindo, and we meet with her. In fact, Rich Grabowski, and we meet once a month,
mhm,
and she goes down the list, and it's we've got somebody else working on it,
yeah,
but a couple of times, well, yesterday I had to interject. I had to put myself into one of the situations and take the upper hand. But you can't make everything. It's impossible
right.
because there are so many moving parts in that office.
Mhm.
You can't make everything. It'd be impossible to make everybody aware of everything that's going on.
Well, and I think it's important to note that when you're electing officials, and that's why I think it's important for people to know who you are. And then I'm going to do one of these as well, with a nonpartisan interviewer,
Good,
who will
good.
grill me and give people, I'll be able to talk about my background and what I think too. But I think it's important for people to know who we are, because at the end of the day, yes, we're running for office, we want to be elected
Hmm.
officials,
Hmm.
but we're really all just neighbors in this town.
Yes, we are.
We are
Yeah,
citizens of this community. We care about the community. We care about each other. I think at a base level, I think that's true for most people.
I agree.
And I think that part of what we're asking when running for office is a little bit of faith, is a
Hmm.
little bit of like, hey, if I have a closed door meeting, it's because it's about something sensitive that is not for
Right,
public knowledge. And you
right.
need to trust me, the person that I am, to handle it, and represent the best interests of the town and the best interests of the people. And I think that's an important designation to make when you're talking about an elected office. And as much as transparency is critical and clarity is critical and delivery of information is more difficult than ever,
Hmm.
because trying to get people to pay attention. I mean, there are what, maybe 40 people that stream a selectman meeting. Every selectman meeting is streamed live and available on YouTube after the fact.
Right.
And very few people take the time to really know what's happening. And I'm not even saying that as a criticism.
Hmm.
I'm just saying my hope for us is to be able to deliver that so they can see more of who you are and get more of that information in a way that they'll be able to understand it.
No, I think this is great. I think it's a great way to do it. Um,
I have another important, so you're doing all of these things, right? So you're running the town from a selectman perspective,
yes.
you're coordinating with and sitting on all these different boards,
Yep.
you're handling everybody's everything that comes through the office, whether it's by delegating it out to someone else or pointing them in the right direction or handling it directly. um, how do you manage because if you're doing a pyramid, right? The board of selectmen's at the top of the pyramid of the town government if you
Mhm.
were doing it like a
Mhm.
business. How do you stay in touch with the heads of the board of finance, the board of education, the board
Mhm.
of zoning, the wetlands commission, all of these different things that are a part of what you're doing because you are in everything, right? So
Mhm.
how do you stay in contact without, because it would be impossible for even three people to attend every single one of those meetings and the other boards and things that you have to do.
You have to, well, with planning and zoning, of course, we've got Martin McKinney,
Hmm.
and I have Mario Tristani,
Yep.
who's also in the town hall.
Hmm.
So we're able to stay on top of things that way.
Hmm.
With the other commissions and committees, you really do. They often will communicate with me.
Yeah.
I stay in touch with the. In fact, I had a conversation with the superintendent of schools today,
Hmm.
so that there's kind of an update there.
Yeah.
I do meet with the board of finance chair. We try to meet every other Thursday.
Hmm.
He'll come in later in the day because that is our late day. Um, and ordinance committee, public health and safety,
Hmm.
uh, minutes. You can read their minutes.
Hmm.
Public health and safety, they're pretty good about communicating things. We started, well, this was quite some time ago when I was at the senior center, what's called the community action team.
Hmm.
And that is a gathering, and we do it virtually
Yep.
once a month. And as a matter of fact, we meet this Thursday with all of the EMS. We've got Tom Holloway, the fire marshal,
Hmm.
the fire chiefs. We have a representative from the Agency on Aging. We have a representative from Uncas Health.
Hmm.
We also have the chair of the Public Health and Safety and Miranda Mahoney with Pride.
Yep.
And we're all on this Zoom, and everybody comes with their agenda.
Yeah.
And it's a sharing of what are the issues in the community that somebody may need help with.
Hmm.
American Ambulance may say, okay, I created this form when, say, for example, American Ambulance or the fire department frequently go to the same um, residence
Yeah.
for whether it be a fall injury or a continuous problem.
Hmm.
They will talk to that resident and say, look, if you sign this release form, it will allow Tina to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's permission to speak. And by doing that, we're able to contact that person
Yeah.
or that person's family and
Hmm.
work with them on what is the issue?
Yeah.
How can we help resolve this issue?
Sure.
So, um, that public health and safety stays involved that way.
Yeah.
But meeting minutes, and if you have a question about a certain commission meeting or something, you reach out to the chair of that.
Yeah.
Of that,
And are they generally pretty good at saying like, "Hey, we had a pretty intense meeting this week. Like, here's the hot topic on
yeah.
whatever this thing is."
And I kind of smile when over the weekend
Hmm.
I went into a store
Yeah.
and there was somebody cashing out, and they waved me down and they said, "Tina, we need to talk to you." And really, what it was is to an invitation to one of the commission meetings next week. They
Yeah.
asked, please, could you come?
Hmm.
So it was like, sure. You
Yeah.
know,
And that's great because I think there has to be. I think you have to know generally everything that's going on.
hmm
But I also think it's important both for the people that are elected to those positions and to the people in the selectman's office
hmm
not to overly micromanage those boards and commissions, right? Because you
no,
could go sit at all the important meetings
yeah,
and tell everybody what you think and have a and put your hands in more than you need to put your hands in. But I don't think that's an effective way to govern.
I agree. I agree with that. And the other thing too is kind of like dispersing. Uh, Rich Grabowski, he will handle maybe this area,
Hmm.
and Martin McKinney, of course, he's the zoning,
Hmm.
planning and zoning. So it's good to kind of spread it out a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you have the meeting of the minds.
Hmm.
If there is an issue or something that must be dealt with, we all communicate it back and forth to each other.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about with the Zoom call is the simplest solution. First of all, I didn't know that that even existed. What's it called again? What is it? The
Community action team.
community action team. I
We
did until this moment. I did not know that that
Yep, we have a
existed.
community action team, and it started, oh gosh, well over 10 years ago.
That's awesome.
And it was a whole, it started through
Hmm.
the ambulance company.
Yeah.
And they came to me and said, Norwich has this committee.
Yeah.
Now, Norwich is much, I mean, they have about 15 people.
Yeah. But they're also a much bigger town.
They are.
Yeah.
So I did meet with their then director of human services,
Mhm.
Norwich Human Services. We sat and we talked, and they kind of advised us, and they gave some guidance.
We lost a little video there, a couple of minutes where Tina was talking about how the community action team was put together. And you said that was about 10 years ago.
Oh, it was more than that.
More than that.
Yeah, it was more than that. We were in the old senior center,
Mhm.
and I'm not even sure if the new ambulance company had come in yet.
Oh,
I know it was.
it was still was it Jewish City Ambulance before that? Wasn't it a
No,
municipality?
it could.
I don't remember.
No, it was Mark Grzkowski
Mhm.
who brought the idea to me. He was on the ambulance crew, and it just kind of it flew from there.
Nice.
So yeah, it was.
So I want to talk a little more about like your vision for Griswold. What is your? I mean, obviously, the infrastructure project is a big topic of conversation.
Yes.
I know that's something you care deeply about. I think you and I share that. The belief that that's really essential to opening up our town to companies that will help us, lessen the burden on the
I'm a
taxpayers,
taxpayer.
which I
Correct.
think is the thing that people care deeply about. But beyond that, or even including that, like short term and long term,
Mhm.
what do you see for Griswold for yourself?
Okay. Commercial development is key right
Yeah.
now. Uh, and what I will say is the whole concept of developing 164, Route 164, it goes back so many years.
Hmm.
And I know that there has been some discussion, and there have been comments about, nothing's happening, nothing's moving. No, it's not. We don't have sewer. We didn't have sewer and water.
Hmm.
And I think the sewer is near completion.
Hmm.
And I'm really happy about that. And we're proud of that. The water is going to begin. And that was not without its set of, we've had our fair share of difficulties with that water line because of the funding, and then there was a pause on the funding, and I know it's been a whole topic of discussion, but we have ironed that out with Hartford.
Hmm.
We're ready to go. So next we'll have water. So water and sewer, I think when you have a developer who comes in and they see they're nowhere near ready,
Right.
they're still talking about it,
Hmm.
but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Well, it's happening.
Yeah.
And I think once you see that infrastructure project completed,
Hmm.
people will believe, and you will be able to convince people, come to Griswold.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been the method that like our neighbors in Plainfield have kind of followed. I know Kevin
Hmm.
talked about this on Mike's show recently.
Yeah.
And they're opening the Uline facility
Right.
now, and I mean the Amazon warehouse is still sitting empty, but they say they're going to run that next year. But
Hmm.
you can have all the land and all the space and all the interests, but if you
Yeah.
don't have the facilities and the capability to build something of that size, then
Right.
you're not going to get people to come in.
They're not going to. I mean, what good would it have done for, I don't know, some large facility to come in
Hmm.
and no access to water? I mean,
Right.
that's a gamble on their part.
Yeah.
And it's not a gamble that they're going to take. They want to see that they have what they need
Hmm.
to build and start business on that property.
Yeah, because they're going to come in with a budget and a timeline
Yeah.
and contracts and
Yeah.
all of those things too.
Hmm.
But ultimately, I think I'm glad that I was really glad when we first talked that that was a vision that we shared, because everyone just got their tax bills. We all know that all of our taxes went up. No one's happy
Right.
about it. Like it's terrible, and that's with us cutting the education budget.
Yeah.
You know, which obviously, I care a lot about education in our town. If it were up to me,
Right. In your
we would
background. Right.
we would
Right.
expand it. Um, but I think the thing that we all need is the world is getting more expensive. It's more expensive.
It is.
Todd Babbitt, former first selectman
Yeah.
and our head of our public works department, and also your husband,
Correct.
which is everybody knows, but in case you didn't know,
If you didn't know,
now
yes, I'm married to Todd Babbitt.
But Todd and I were talking about that, and I was like, Todd, be honest, like, how much more expensive and how much more challenging has it become just to fuel the trucks, do the maintenance, buy the things, the tools that you need
Yep.
to provide the town with the services, not let alone pay our public works employees a living wage.
A living wage, then you have contract obligations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and look at the cost of paving roads,
Right.
you know?
I just got a quote to reseal my driveway for like $12,000.
It's crazy.
It's not a long
It's
driveway.
crazy. And I know that we are in the middle right now of a new road study.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of encouraged Public Works to, I think that we had another year on the current road study. But and when people call to complain about potholes and everything, I go out and look at them.
Yeah.
And then I'll call Public Works from where I am and I will say, okay, this needs to be addressed.
Yep.
But we're working on we had the company come in, Beta,
Mm-hmm.
and they are working on updating a new road study. They went through, they evaluated every single road in Griswold. They're putting together their report, their recommendations. And what I want to do is get the word out to the residents. You need to come and hear, the public hearing. You
Mm-hmm.
need to come and listen to this presentation and understand how road work is determined,
Yeah.
the order of the road work.
And now, does that determine if we get funding to do the road work, or is that just what they're going to tell us what specifically is most important and what we should do about
What's most important? Now,
Mhm.
obviously, things happen. You have either a sinkhole or something like that where you have to address it. But it gives that department an idea of, what are we going to ask for funding in next year's budget?
Mhm.
What are the what's important, what absolutely must be done,
Yeah.
and you put it into the budget. Whether it gets cut or not, you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think all of the things that we're talking about from the very beginning of our conversation, from providing social services to our seniors,
Mm-hmm.
from providing services to our students, because as everyone knows, at a federal level, the budget for the education system is getting cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Federal funding for our school budgets is changing. I logged into my FAFSA for my own financial aid yesterday,
Yeah.
and was like, oh, there's some updates here. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how it's going to impact me, but they're changing a lot of those things from a federal level. And so as a town, I think we're obligated to pick up the slack, right? Like, we're never going to let our kids go hungry, right?
Sure.
I think that's something that this town would be appalled by.
Mm-hmm.
But what if school lunch gets taken away? Then there's more money that we need in the budget to do that. And all of the ways that you get more, there's really only two ways to get more money
Mm-hmm.
in the town. And it's to ask more of the individual taxpayers, which of course none of us want, because our lives are all more expensive than
Right.
they used to be.
Right.
And everything we buy is more expensive, and wages haven't really risen to meet the needs of the current economy. So the only real resolution for us is development and getting
Right.
large corporations to pay tax dollars into our town
Mm-hmm.
to reduce the burden on the taxpayers. And
Right.
that to me unlocks the ability to expand our special ed department, to expand our public works department, to expand our senior services, to maybe give incentives to people to open new businesses in town.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that, really all stem from what we can get from exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's going to take a lot of work.
Mhm.
And it also, it depends how you interact with these business interests coming into town. It really depends on how you listen,
Mhm.
It depends on how you speak to them. Um, you know, we've had a couple come in that really weren't pleased with the way they were treated
Yeah.
when they came into town to talk.
Mhm.
And again, it goes right back to all about listening. You
Yeah.
have to listen to what people's needs are, whether it's a resident or an incoming business. It's all about how you listen and how you treat people.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of it. If it's not, it should be kind of a hallmark of Griswold anyway. And
Hmm.
I really think you see that a lot in the school, right? In what the school cares about in terms of being a leader in the community, being
Hmm.
a good citizen, being a good member
Right.
of your community, and having an impact. Having a community service requirement for
Hmm.
graduation and things like that.
Right.
I
Right.
think, and I think as those kids grow up and stay here in Griswold, which a lot of people do,
They do.
um, that becomes this foundation, this core of our community.
Hmm.
Like, how can we help each other? How can we look out for one another? What is my responsibility to my neighbor? Because people don't talk to their neighbors the way that they did. I certainly, when I was a kid and I
Yeah.
lived on Charles Street and I knew
Yep.
all of my neighbors, up and down the whole street.
I'm sure.
Um, and I mean, I know my neighbors kind of now as an adult, but we don't walk across the street and talk to each other the way we would have,
I know.
you know,
It
20 or 30 years ago.
it's a whole different world.
So I
It
think it's
is.
just redefining, how we can reach out and how we can be a part of the community and make each other's lives a little bit better. And I think that's
Sure.
kind of our, certainly your focus in how you're choosing to run your
Hmm.
selectmanship, basically.
Yeah.
Um,
And remember, we care about the people, not the politics.
yes, yes, we
And
do.
I really think that both of us, we
Mhm.
feel very, um, and I think our whole group feels very strongly
Yeah,
that it's about the people, not the politics.
I agree, and I think that will bear out as we go
I think so.
through
The other
through the
thing that I
process.
wanted to put out there too, when you talk about
Mhm.
communication, and the one thing, another thing, I won't say the one thing, but something that I think that this administration is very pleased with
Mhm.
is the way that we've been able to work with and communicate with the borough.
Yeah.
All right. There's been a definite reconnect there.
Hmm.
Uh, very, very strong communication. And I'm really pleased. We're able to work with them. We're really proud that we were able to reconnect with the borough because it was a little tense there for a while
Hmm.
on a number of different levels. And I think we've worked through that.
That's
So,
awesome.
yep,
All right. Politics aside,
yep.
Tina, the regular person,
Okay.
what do you do when you're not going to a million meetings and worrying about the fate of the infrastructure project and all the other things that we talked about in this sit down?
Um,
How do you
well,
unwind?
how do I unwind? Well, of course, you go home, you start dinner, you've got laundry.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. My go-to place is always the ocean,
Yeah.
always salt water. And, my family will tell you that. And my kids are the same way. Not so much my son, but my daughter. That is my spot where it's heaven. And even if and Todd and I, through COVID, we would make a lunch, we would take our chairs, and we would go sit down at Stonington Point.
Hmm.
Sit there for hours and just watch the boats and just watch the water. That's kind of my unwind.
That's awesome. That's a great way to do it.
Hmm. Love
Um,
it.
are you a reader, a movie watcher, podcast listener, any of those things?
I would say more reader,
Yeah.
um, not so much podcast.
Well, after this, you will be.
I know.
You're gonna be a
I'm
pro.
learning a lot. I
Gonna get you
really
right
am.
into it.
Um, Gardening. I know that in my former home, I had multiple gardens, and not so much now with
Yeah.
with the job, but I expect that's going to come back.
Mhm.
Um, NASCAR,
Nice.
big NASCAR
Who
family.
knew you were a big NASCAR fan?
Yeah, I
You got a
grew.
favorite driver?
It was Rusty Wallace. Right now
Okay.
it's Chase Elliott.
Yep.
But I mean, growing up as a child, and this goes back to Paul Brickey had a car down at Waterford Speed Bowl.
Mhm.
And I used to go, Paul Brickey and I are cousins, and we were always at Waterford Speed Bowl every Saturday night.
Mhm.
Then my older brother, got involved with racing
Yeah.
at Waterford Speed Bowl, Thompson Speedway, sometimes Stafford. So we lived at the racetracks.
That's awesome.
And then as time went on, I did the NASCAR driving experience with my son.
That's cool.
Yep, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I will say, he kicked my butt. He really, really did. But we still we tape all the races
Mhm.
during the day so that we can sit at night during racing season, and we typically watch either the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, or the Cup Series, or all three.
That's awesome.
Depends. Yeah.
I grew up. My dad was also loves NASCAR, so
Yeah.
long time Bill Elliott fan. So
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
Chase Elliott natural is just the natural progression from there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say I'm a faithful follower, but I
No.
get it.
No.
That's awesome.
No. And try to spend time. I have 7 grandchildren,
Mhm.
and I try to spend time with them.
Yeah.
I have my oldest granddaughter just went into the Navy,
Awesome.
so we're trying to keep track of that and watch her journey.
Yeah, a GHS graduate herself.
She is last year.
That's awesome.
Yep, yep. So, um, I try to stay in tune with the veterans.
Mhm.
There's a big thing in my
Yeah,
heart.
talk about that a little bit because I know that's a really, really important thing that you do.
It is. It is. The Veterans Coffee House started small in town, and they it started quite a few years ago where TVCCA wanted to start the Veterans Coffee House over at the old senior center.
Mhm.
There really was no place for privacy or for them to meet. So it kind of grew, and now it's the Veterans Coffee House of Southeastern Connecticut. And there was a group that got together. They were meeting up at the old town hall.
Yeah.
They started meeting there, but when we started construction of the senior center, the new senior center, I had it in my mind that I wanted to make the senior center available for that group to meet.
Mhm.
And it's amazing, the growth. And they're not all from Griswold.
No.
But let me tell you what they do within the community spirit, wanting to work within the community. I was just up there this morning for a veterans event, and there wasn't a parking space to be found. That main room was filled with green shirts from the Veterans Coffee House, and it warms my heart because it it's so important.
Yeah.
To have respect and to honor those who have served.
I agree.
I sometimes I regret. I shouldn't say. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would take a very, very different course.
Yeah.
And I probably would have entered the military in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's funny to look back and think about how you would have made different choices based on what matters to you now.
True. True. Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't have survived in the military. I'm very bad at being told what to do.
I don't know. I don't know. My son was in. He joined the Army, and I really thought when we sent him off to basic training, it was like, Lord help them. And he turned out to be a remarkable young man because of it. He's a responsible adult with a family and a home, and served 2 tours, and it really it was a good thing for him.
I think that does happen for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think it definitely builds a lot of character, and it's great to see some of Griswold's own who we know
Yeah.
have strong core values and the
Right.
desire to help people go on to do great things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have anything else that you want to share with people that maybe I missed? Things that maybe they
No,
ought
you've
to know?
covered a lot. You really have. And we're going to walk out of here, and of course I'm going to walk back across the parking lot. I'm going to say, oh yeah, I'll make notes. But I think that this is this is a wonderful thing, and I'm hoping that people will tune in, sign on. I don't know. I'm really bad with this type of thing, but this is going to be the expert. Matt is going to be the one who carries all of us through this, and I'm hoping that people take advantage and send in your questions. If you have questions, please send them in. It's important, and we want to answer all of your questions. So thank you.
Thanks for doing this with me, Tina. This was a longer form version of what we're going to do going forward, but sometimes maybe it'll just be a hot minute where we sit down and we answer questions.
Hot minute, for example. In fact, when we do interviews, one of my questions, and it might sound foolish, but I always ask, last question is, what's your favorite ice cream?
Tells you a lot about a person.
I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me? It's kind of a hard question. I'm a hardcore Buttonwoods truther. I don't think there's any better ice cream on planet Earth.
What flavor?
But I go chocolate brownie batter is my go-to.
Okay.
But I've been on a peanut butter Oreo kick for a while now.
Okay. Well, I'm allergic to nuts, so peanut butter won't work.
Not an option for you.
But chocolate, definitely chocolate.
I'm a chocolate person. Like if you ask me just to pick one regular old flavor, it's chocolate.
It's always a good question to ask.
All right.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you all for joining me at this first episode of the Grizzled Select podcast. I'm Matt Danieluk, the Democratic nominee for Selectman, running alongside Tina Falck, the incumbent First Selectwoman here in town. And we're going to use this show as an opportunity to show you who we are and answer your questions. So please go to the Issues tab on our website or on the Grizzled DTC Facebook page and tell us what you care about. Tell us what you think. A special thank you to the Slater Library for hosting us today. We look forward to bringing you more content as this election season progresses. And remember, vote Falk Danieluk on November 4th.